Hello pilots, welcome to another video. Hope you're doing alright. It's Armored Core Exile. I haven't practiced this intro anywhere near as much as I have my other stuff, so, there's that. Hope you're doing alright though. This is going to be my, if you couldn't tell from the title of the video and all that good stuff, this is at least part, if not the whole thing, of my own Armored Core timeline theory. It's not going to be in exact detail. I'm going to take some liberties, okay? So don't come at me with torches and pitchforks. It's not too big of a deal. I'm looking for any kind of cohesion or cohesive flow, reasonable flow to the way the games take place, the technology present, the way the world is built. And if we take a little bit of liberty with it, it makes it a lot easier to actually have a cohesive timeline. So before we begin, if you haven't already, hit subscribe, hit like, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear all your timeline thoughts, all the stuff you think about this. And hit that bell icon for notifications for future uploads whenever I can get to them. I work 2 jobs, so if you want to help me reduce that count and actually be able to do this a little bit more often, then I'd appreciate that. Go ahead and throw whatever you can at me. Every penny helps at Cash App and PayPal. It's in the description, but you can go ahead and I don't know if I'm able to. If I put it on screen, then great. But get on Cash App. Use hashtag discount Walter White, all one word. Because when I shave my head and keep my mustache and goatee, I look like Walter White, which is great. And if you don't want to do that, if Cash App isn't your thing, you want to use PayPal, then PayPal is at INSOA117. That is the at symbol, INSOA117. And like I said, every penny helps. Any and everything that you can send, it'll definitely help. I'm trying to do what I can to make sure to afford things. So any financial support you can give, I'd be incredibly grateful, to the point where I may actually shed a tear or two. Manly tears, but still tears. And it would blow my mind. But I'll definitely give you a shout out if you so choose. I'll be sure to contact you about that before I do so. But I'd love to give you a shout out for any kind of support you can give. And you would help take a lot of stress off my mind, because it's always money. It never stops. But I know everybody's struggling in the world right now, though. Everybody's having to tighten the belt, so to speak, to use political, I guess, lines from way back when. Everybody's got to tighten their belts. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if you would quit tightening the noose around our necks, we could tighten our belts a little bit more and actually enjoy it. But hey, it is what it is. That's not this channel. This channel is timeline stuff for Armored Core right now. So, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how I've got the games ordered, and I'll try to give you a little summary details about them as we go along. From earliest to latest, I've got Armored Core 4 being the earliest in the timeline, followed by 4 Answer, 5 and the Verdict Day. That's as far as technology goes, that's what makes the most sense to me, because we see technology in those games in similar form in later games. I say later in the timeline. The earliest chronologically in our reality is some of the latest stuff chronologically in the theory, timeline theory that I've got here. But going from Verdict Day on, we move to Armored Core 3, then 3 Silent Line, then Nexus, Ninebreaker, and Last Raven, and then to Armored Core Original, OG, and then Project Phantasma, Master of Arena, and then 2, and 2 Another Age. So that's my theory. For those of you who aren't aware of information regarding those games, or how this actually fits or flows, I'll try to give you a quick rundown. And I've actually got some notes written here, but I'm not going to lie. It's been taking so long, and I've had so little time to get actually involved in this, that I've had almost no energy to put towards this. So I'm going to give you what I've got on this, and then go based on memory, because most of this is based on memory anyway. I've played almost every single main game of the series. The only one I haven't actually sat and played was Silent Line, because I could never find a copy of it. I just never had a chance to play it over the years, and now I can emulate it if I was willing to subject my laptop to that. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't have the time for it. I really don't. I barely have time to even play Armored Core 4 Answer, and that game's my bread and butter. Although it's not the first one I ever played, so drop a comment down below. What's the first Armored Core game you ever played? And then what's your favorite? Because they're usually different. My first was 3. I loved that game dearly. Like, when I got to taking the notes for 3, I got so excited. I was like, oh god, oh man, it's so good. And then my favorite one to actually play is 4 Answer. To me, it's the pinnacle of Armored Core and what it is that they originally intended for the game to be. Or for the franchise to be. But I know it's not everybody's favorite. I know a lot of people think that that's the abomination of the world, but to each their own. Everybody has their tastes. I support you and yours, and I'm glad that we have that varied taste in the community because that gives us a lot of different. Like, we're not all on the same page on the game. We're not all like, dude, Armored Core 4 Answer is the best. It's the pinnacle. All those other ones are garbage. We're not like that. Like, at least we used to be, I think, but we're not like that now, and that's what matters. But I'm glad that we all have that difference in taste because that brings a lot more to the community than it would if we all just liked the same game. And this franchise is very long running. There's a lot of different entries, and there are many different ways. What the hell was that, sweetie? There's a lot of different ways that these games can be approached, and I love to see the customization in each one. That little hiccup was great. I didn't expect that. Alright, let's see. To get into it, to actually read some of the notes that I wrote, because I spent the ink, so I might as well read it. So, first we've got Armored Core 4. Humanity has reached a very advanced future of warfare. Nexts are nearly godlike on the battlefield. Mobile fortresses are significant threats. Normals and MTs are grunt forces in comparison to Nexts and mobile fortresses. Pollution is a rising threat. Modern countries like Russia, America, China, etc. still exist at this point in one degree or another. Corporate power over the future has basically been solidified, and AI-controlled Nexts actually exist, as in the unmanned Nexts. Which I think that's like, I would consider that to be, to me, that is the first sign of something like what we see in the older games, that like Armored Core 2, Armored Core 2 Another Age, like, I say those. Let's see. AI-controlled ACs that are there purely for combat in one form or another for one reason or another. And selectively being able to choose who to fight. Like, that is a next level of this that we see in Armored Core 4. And with Armored Core 4, it's mobile fortresses to me are like the massive MT units that you see in Armored Core 3. That's what those remind me of, because those were always ancient weapons from ancient civilizations, and they were this big, massive, fear-inducing threat, supposedly, and they were always discovered by companies or corporations that were trying to excavate and control old power that they didn't really understand. So, moving on from Armored Core 4 is 4 Answer. 10 years later, corporations and their conflicts, as well as their weapons, have irreparably polluted the Earth. Nations are beholden to them for so many decades by now, it's futile to consider them relevant. Humanity is on the verge of annihilation. It's literally it's teetering on the edge of self-destruction in some form or another. Arms forts are walking cities in their own right, and they're used to guarantee the League's rule. The League of Ruling Companies, for those of you who aren't aware. Pollution levels have risen to lethal levels in some places, and corporations have sealed off space from human access due to their own folly. And resistance has emerged in the form of Orca, and they bring the world to heel in some form or another, and they execute what is called the Close Plan, which is to free humanity from corporate rule as much as they can, but to open up the access of outer space again to humanity, which is very important later on in the series. Let's see, where was that in my notes? Corporate masters go into hiding during the events of Four Answer, a mass destruction is wrought before humanity can rise from the ashes, which will later lead us to the far future, which is, I think the estimate was 150 to 300 years after the formation, or not after the formation, after the events of Armored Core 4 Answer. We have Armored Core 5, so a century and a half to up to 3 centuries later, we have years after the formation of a power simply called the Corporation, ran exclusively by an entity called the Father. AI has advanced to an obsessive sentience, personified in the character called Chief, who takes an obsessive fascination in the strongest pilots, seeking them out to fight them. Namely, the main character that you play as, the Raven. Ultimately, the high levels of pollution from the past have turned much of the world into a wasteland. Ancient weapons linger on in some form or another. Father and the Corporation are dealt with accordingly by the player. Chief is revealed as an AI with sentience. He is capable of combat maneuvers that humans are not, as well as surviving damage that would kill living humans. He also exhibits tendencies like Nineball to seek out the strongest opponents, to seek them out, to manipulate humans, and to actively decide things, to be aware of himself. And in the form of exousia, which reminds me a lot of like Nineball Seraph, as well as a very well-tuned Next from Armored Core 4 Answers days. I know because I play with them constantly. Of one that can maintain flight, high-speed maneuvered combat, high damage output despite the, I would say, supposed weight limitation. I think that game got the idea of the weight limit right. It doesn't massively bog you down, but that's me being a 4 Answer fanboy. Anyway, so Chief is defeated, time goes on, and then we have Verdict Day taking place around 100 years after 5. So pollution has begun to subside, allowing humanity to re-explore and re-inhabit the world. While doing so, they find a series of massive towers. Within these towers, ancient technology and superweapons are housed. A war breaks out for these towers called the Verdict War, being waged by multiple prominent factions. AI-controlled weaponry still is in use, as well as other other various weapons of old, so to speak. The most prominent being an AC built with Next technology, pulled straight from White Glint's design, as produced by the former power called Line Arc. So, that, which whenever I saw that, like, that blew my mind. I was like, dude, I'm so hyped, oh my god! And then, like, I never got to play it, and then I went back and watched reviews of that, and I was really disappointed to hear what it is that they had basically gotten rid of in that game. Because the idea of territorial combat was amazing to me, I loved it. But anyway, to see the Next White Glint 9, like that, which I don't know if that's what the code is supposed to be, but that's what it means to me. The I think it's like NWG09, I believe it is. I don't know, but I love it. I think it's great. I love that it's a reference to White Glint. It's a shame that it had to be that way. Let's see, but yeah, as well as the next level technology, the actual next form of that machine. That's not the only relic that was brought back. They revived the Arms Fort Spirit of Motherwell that is indeed in the game Armored Core Verdict Day, which the player in Armored Core 4 Answer defeats, and they subsequently, well, they destroy it, but it's ultimately repaired and revived in some form or another, though I believe it stays stationary. They're ultimately destroyed, however, that technology is still there. It still exists in the world of these games. But then, after so many years of advancement via humanity, taking a little bit of liberty to do this, to make this jump, we have Armored Core 3 in my chronology. I would say that the technology that was discovered in the towers ultimately led humanity to redevelop super weapons, and it then ultimately led to the mass destruction that forced humanity underground into cities like Laird, Humanity now lives underground after an event of nuclear-level conflict that forced humanity to seek refuge in massive subterranean cities called Laird. A super AI called the Controller is in charge of every aspect of human life within the city of Laird. The Controller also exhibits, like, I would say, chief level and 9-ball level awareness. It's fully aware of what's going on, what it's doing, how it's manipulating, humans, and it maintains control of peak weaponry at the time. Let's see. Three major corp. See, this is why I like this off the cuff stuff. You don't get, you don't get me buggering things up at all if I just record this and selectively cut. Three major companies are vying for control with a rebellion group on the rise. Armored Core 3 establishes bioweapons as well as sentient AI. Excuse me. That is intent on manipulation of humanity for its own means, which is like much like Chief. There we go. See, much like Chief and Armored Core Verdict Day. I'm trying to read ahead of where my eyes are actually at. Bleh. This game also introduced the optional part OP Intensify with abilities that are superhuman in nature. The controller is defeated after its AC units are bested in combat, and its control core is destroyed by the Raven. Upon its defeat, the control locks to the surface access are lifted, and humanity returns to the surface. This is also my first ever Armored Core game, again, like I said, and I absolutely love it. Now, that is the first 5 pieces of this timeline, and there are 14 total. I'm probably going to cut it there, because this video is already going to be about 20 minutes long anyway. So, I know I've got other stuff I've got to do. I'm going to try and get this out as much as I can, but there's a lot of stuff to cover, like I said, and there's a lot of notes that I'll have to write, which means a lot of lunch breaks, and as much time as I can spend on this as possible is what it's going to wind up being. So, if you'd like to go ahead and drop comments down below. I know some of these things are going to be me taking liberties, and not a lot of people are going to like that. It's okay. I'm trying to come up with a cohesive idea of what a timeline would be. I know that they don't have one, not really, but if you had to build one, I think this is some of the best that you can do. It's what makes the most sense to me. I've been an Armored Core fan since I was a teenager, probably 14, 15 years old, and first played Armored Core 3. I played it so obsessively and was so interested in it, so much so that I actually started to research robotics and engineering, and I wanted to know how to build these things. So, thanks to that, and with a little bit of, I guess you could say, creative ingenuity, by the age of 16, 17 years old, I had done enough research to where I was actively thinking about like different ways to create muscle strands and what tools you would need, or not tools, what equipment you would need, like the types of engineers, the type of funding, stuff like that, like locations, size, dimensions, all that stuff. Like I had a very strong grasp of how to build one. Like if I had a team of engineers, I'm willing to bet, I'm willing to damn near guarantee you that I could have built one of these back then. That's how involved I was in these games. I loved them that much. Still do. I just don't think about them like that anymore. Like as cool as it would be to have my own next, to have Exile and be able to use it, as cool as that would be, that's not something that I think we need. And besides, the amount of money that would take alone would be insane. And the years of research and development. But would it be worth it to have Exile and be able to actually pilot it? Oh, I'm willing to bet that it would to me, but to the rest of the world, it would be like the Iron Man suit. If I have one, everyone's going to want one. And if everyone has one, then this world becomes a big steaming ball of debris. So I'd rather not do that. But yeah, no. I think that this timeline is about as close as I'm going to be able to get, reasonably so, to having a kind of a cohesive idea of how the games would flow, chronologically speaking, because we have the world power and technology gets to the certain point to having next eventually become what we see in Armored Core. Let's go ahead and spoil a bit. Whenever we get to Armored Core Nexus, the pulverizers, like we see what is essentially a next in its own right in Armored Core Nexus. So this timeline is very feasible. It's just merely a matter of how does it flow? And I really do think that I'm onto something here. I just want to get more notes done so I can have more to read from and get my thoughts down on paper. Because if I don't, this will be a jumbled, jump around mess. But anyway, let me know what you think down below. If I'm onto something here, if I'm taking too many liberties, then I'm sorry about your thoughts. Hope you find a way to deal with those. But I really think that I'm onto something. I think this is about as close as we're going to get to a cohesive timeline, and I am more than happy to put out more of these. I'm just really trying to figure my way through this stressful situation with having to sign a new lease for an apartment that's going to be overpriced, having to be able to afford stuff like bills, all that stuff. This is all very stressful. So yeah, right. Good God.
3 minutes remaining.
Yeah, this is gonna be something. I've got to make a few $100 appear out of nowhere pretty soon, so it's gonna be good. Anyway, hope that you all are doing well. If you've enjoyed this, like I said previously, if you haven't already, hit subscribe, hit like for me. I'd love that. Algorithm enjoys it, and so do I. Leave a comment for me down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this stuff. Your first game you ever played in the series or in the franchise, your favorite game in the franchise, the name of your AC, your pilot name, your call sign, all that stuff. Let me know everything you got. I'd love to hear from you. I think that'd be really cool to know what you guys go by. Like, my own personal call sign would be Exiled King, and my next would be Exile. Like, that's my personal stuff. But as far as for the sake of my little story goes, pilot name Lloyd, AC name Exile, for my project, which I still want to make, by the way. I've not let go of that. I've still got all my notes on that. It's just everybody's so busy and everyone's so stressed and money's so tight. No one really has time or effort or energy to do this. And I'm trying to do what I can. I know it takes forever for me to get a video out, but it's 2 jobs and tons of stress. And I'm amazed I haven't had to pawn my laptop yet, which I imagine that time is coming very soon, but it's always money. So hooray. But speaking of money, if you want to support me at all in any way financially, if you can throw a few bucks or even a few cents my way, then by all means please do so via Cash App and PayPal. Cash App is hashtag discount Walter White, all one word. PayPal is @insoa117. That is the @ symbol, INSOA 117. And like I said previously, that stuff is in the description. There aren't links there for you to click, but you can copy and paste it, I think, or it'll give you something you can look at and type it. I don't know. I love you for any effort you put into this, and I know it could be more convenient, but I'm not going to lie, I haven't had even half the time that I want to put towards even looking at my channel to set it up appropriately. Because, holy crap. I've got more white hairs in the last few weeks than I have in the last few years. It's pretty bad. Like, if you saw my beard right now, you'd be like, holy crap, this dude looks like he's in his 40s. I am 30. I turned 31 this year. Oh my god. Anyway, it's enough about me and my end. Hope you're all doing well. Like I said, let me know in the comments down below what all you think and all the stuff that I said. Go back and listen if you need that. I appreciate the few minutes. And other than that, just y'all stick with me. I'll stick with y'all. I'll keep doing what I can to make content for you, whether that be gameplay like this or actual recording of my face, whatever I can do to put stuff out or at least stir up discussion, something. I'm at 97 subscribers as of the recording of this video, and I would love to break 100 here soon. I think with 100 you can do community posts, which would be great. But if y'all can share this around, I appreciate any and all support you send my way. Any love you show me, I'll definitely do whatever I can to show it back. I absolutely support each and every one of you in your dreams. Hope you do well. Hope you stay frosty and stay cool. And I definitely hope to see you guys out there. Y'all are my bread and butter. I love y'all. And please, please, please have a good day. And stay, I was going to say stay solid, but I don't really know if a cute thing to say on that. Something Armored Core appropriate. I don't know. Anyway, stay cool.
confirmed. All targets destroyed. Mission complete.